Here at Xbox Live's Major Nelson here with my good friend Albert, who's joining us to tell us about, what are you going to tell us about today?
We're going to talk about Elite and hard drives.
All right, so let's bring them out here. So some great new products that are coming out. First is the Xbox 360 Elite. Take a look at that. There you go. And then, of course, the Xbox 360 120 gig hard drive, which is usable with any Xbox 360.
That's right.
So you're going to walk us through. We actually have Jen who's going to join us in a minute, who's going to walk us through and show us how this works in terms of what we call the migration.
Yeah, when we announced the Elite, there was a lot of excitement about it, a lot of enthusiasm about the console. We're really excited, and then a lot of questions just sort of tactically started cropping up.
People started thinking about, hey, how do I do this?
How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? So I thought we spent a lot of time talking about the console. I'm not sure how many people have seen the box, seen the console, and then Jen's going to take us through a little bit just tactically how you move data over and what the experience is like between I have a console and I'm just buying a drive versus I'm getting an Elite and I want to move my data over to the Elite.
It's quick and it's easy, and Albert's going to show us how to do it.
Very simple.
Let's do it.
So what you see on the table is basically the contents that come from the 120 kit. So you've got the hard drive, the transfer cable, and the software that migrates the data over.
So these are all inside this package.
All comes in a box.
Open up the package like Jen's doing right now.
Right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take the transfer cable and plug it onto the 120 gig drive.
Just snaps on.
Just snaps on. Set it down. Take the other end of the USB cable, and you can plug it into any one of the USB ports.
So there's 3 ports. There's one in the back, 2 in the front. So any free one, just snap it in.
Just snap it in.
You can remove it. So just if you've got something plugged in already, you can remove it.
Yeah, no big deal. So then go ahead and open the drive door, put the software in, close it, and you're going to run the software, and in about 30 to 45 minutes you'll have, depending on how full your drive is, you're going to move all the data from the 20 to the 120.
So it's going to take my 20 gig, all the content there, move it over to the 120 gig. What happens to the 20 gig? What's on there?
You now have a fresh, blank 20 gig hard drive. You can put it on another console. You could sell it at your favorite auction site, trade it in on some games, so whatever you want to do.
So anybody who needs, maybe one of your friends who has an Xbox 360 without a hard drive, you can sell it to them.
Sure.
Or if you're a good friend,
go for it. Yeah.
So great. Okay, so let's see how that transfer actually works.
Sure. So this is Tony from the Gamerscore blog. He's volunteered his console to get a free 120 gigabyte drive. So congratulations to Tony. Let's take a look at how much space he's got left.
I see he's got 7.4 gig free.
Okay, so that's pretty typical.
Yep.
He's got an unbelievably crazy high gamer score, but he's got about an average amount of space left on his drive.
Okay.
Now that Jen's got everything hooked up for the transfer, let's go ahead and run the software.
So you just pop it in there and it automatically brings you right to the screen.
Right. All you have to do, it's basically giving you some basic instructions here. It's just telling you to, anything you don't want to move over, take care of it now.
This is the
Otherwise,
last stop. You're on your way.
Hit continue.
Yep.
And hit transfer content.
So it's also going to tell us it's going to take about 56 minutes there.
That's right. And the good news is we always average on the high side. So in my experience, it actually takes less time than it says.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Xbox 360 Elite. It's in stores now, or will be very soon in your area. You can pick these guys up. Now, Albert, if I'm an existing Xbox 360 owner with my hard drive on it, what's the migration scenario like? How does that work?
So it's very similar to what Jen just showed when you're migrating from a 20 gig existing console to the 120.
Okay.
And we really encourage people who want to migrate the data to go through that scenario. Buy the 120 standalone.
So buy this.
Just buy this, put on your existing box. If you really want to get an Elite, the process is slightly different.
Okay.
What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take your old 20 gigabyte drive off of your console, your existing console, and put it on the Elite. And then you're going to go through the same steps, plugging the cable into the 120 from the Elite, put it in the USB port, run the software.
Okay.
There's a couple of things you need to know when you do that. The first is it's a one-time only thing. When you copy that data over from your 20 gig to your 120, you only do it once. You're going to move all the data over. You can't move it back. And when you go through that process, you basically have a blank 20 gig drive now that you can put on another console. You could sell it on your favorite auction site. But there will be a slight variance in how you access your content. The one exception is, and a couple of people on your site have pointed this out, is that licensed content like movies and arcade games are attached to both your console ID and your live ID.
Okay.
And when you're moving that content to a new console,
You have a new console ID.
You have a new console ID.
Okay.
And so in order to access that licensed content, you're going to need to be logged into Live.
Okay. Which most people are anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, practically speaking, you know, you don't unhook live. You've got live in all the time. The first thing you do when you turn your console on is it logs you into live. So you'll probably never notice that that it actually anything's different.
It's pretty seamless.
But there are a handful of people who might have a unique scenario where they're not logged into live.
Okay.
The other thing that I definitely suggest for people that are going to go through this process is, if you're ordering the cable from us, use the 20 gigabyte drive until the cable comes.
So you can take this this 20 gig hard drive. You've got your Xbox 360 Elite plugged into your HDMI, and you're all good to go. You want to basically take the 120 gig off, put it on the side for a minute, and keep living on your 20 gig for a little bit.
That's right. Keep saving your game data to it. Keep downloading things to the drive.
Okay.
Because it is a one-time only migration. Once you've moved all the data off the 20 and onto 120, one time, you can't move it back. It erases everything on the 20 and moves it over. So, until you've got the cable, you want to keep doing things on the same drive. Otherwise, you're going to erase the data that's on the 120. You got
stuff over here, you got some stuff over here. So just wait until you get the cable and then do the transfer.
Don't put stuff on two drives.
Yeah, that's basically.
Keep everything on the same drive.
Okay, got it. All right. So other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Then everything will move over to your new 120 gig hard drive,
and you're good to go.
And you're good to go. Great. Why doesn't Jen show us what's in the Xbox 360? When somebody gets this thing home and opens it up, what's going to be inside here? So the first thing we see is a black box. There's the actual Xbox 360 console. So let's go ahead and pull that out, Jen. It's all nice, sealed up in new plastic. Smell of the new electronic device. I love it. All right, so there you go. That's the Xbox 360 Elite right there. Turn it upside down, you can see the 120 gig hard drive is already attached on the top. All right, Jen, what else do we have in the box here? I always love opening new boxes, so let's go ahead and pull it out. Of course, we got all the paperwork and all the good stuff, and the stickers and all that fun stuff. And then let's pull back the foam, right? We'll pull back the bottom there, and we'll pull it out. We got some stuff in here that maybe people haven't seen before. All right, also included in the box is, I want you to go ahead and pull that out, Jen, that's an HDMI cable. The Xbox 360 Elite supports HDMI. We include the cable in the box. But that's not all. Let's see what else we got in the box here. We also have a headset. Now open that headset up, Jen, because nobody maybe has seen this before. This is actually a black Xbox 360 Elite headset, specially designed and colored. There you go, look at that. So that's fun. Xbox 360, turn it on there. There you go. All right. What else do we have in here, Jen?
Well,
let's see. We also have. Okay, so this is interesting. Why don't you open that up? This is for those folks that have perhaps maybe getting an HDMI TV later in the year or sometime in the future. But right now, all they have is component or composite. We also include that cable. That cable's also in the box, so you can switch it between the TV and HD TV. There, you can see that little switch. All right, let's go on and see what else we have.
Oh, the black controller.
The black controller. There you go. Look at that. That's looking awfully nice. The award-winning Xbox 360 controller. And then finally in the box, we have at the very bottom of the box, in addition to the power, this cable is actually pretty important. So why don't you open that up, Jen? For those folks that have an Xbox 360 Elite, that you have here, for those folks that have the HDMI going to the television set, perhaps they want to branch off their audio and pump it into their 5.1 or 7.1 system. That's what this will do. This plugs right into the Xbox 360 Elite. You can see RCA cable left and right there, or your Toslink as well. You can see that right at the bottom there. So if you want to route your audio to a different place, we also provide a way for you to do that as well. Or if you just want to use it on your TV, then the HDMI cable will do that as well. All right, so thanks to Albert and Jen for coming by and showing us the Xbox 360 Elite. There's going to be more information up on my site. We're going to have great information up on Xbox.com. Remember, if you buy an Xbox 360 Elite, you can go up to Xbox.com and get your free cable for doing the transfer. We covered that a little bit earlier. Feel free to watch the video again if you didn't understand it. If you have more questions, make sure you post them up on the site. Thanks for stopping.